Yes, Classy, thank you so much for tuning on to Metric Up, and please just let's keep on subscribing and liking and following our channel. So therefore, we keep on updated and posted on every new lecture, video, and every piece of work coming onto our channel. Today, I'm coming to you with a 2022 paper 2. Here is just section A. I'm sure you saw yesterday is section B. I told you that I'm just gonna make them separate sections or different presentations so that they don't become too long. And I also welcome you for your comments about that regarding cutting the pieces of the presentation into two different presentations. So this is it. It's 50 marks, grade 11. So I'm just going to go through the question paper very fast and make sure that you will get the best, shortest video and comprehensively covered anyway. So the question is saying the kingdom to which the prokaryotic unicellular organisms belong to. They belong to what? Belong to Monera. They belong to Monera, which is letter D. Uh, which of the following is a characteristic feature of a virus? A virus, it is what? A characteristic feature of a virus. Which of the following is a characteristic feature of a virus? It is protein coat. A virus is protein coat, which is letter B. And then which of the statement below represents similarities between the barophytes and the petrophytes? What is the similarity between the two? I'm sure if you can check this one, uh, these questions, 1, 2, 3, they are actually similar to the 2020 paper that we did. So as much as you can see, it makes sense to you that we are to expect similar questions throughout, and whenever we do them, we will never go wrong. So the statements below, which of the statements below represent a similarity between the barophyte and the petrophyte? It is actually that both division reproduce by means of spores. They both reproduce by means of spores, which is letter B. And study the list below. And then it is offsprings are genetically identical to the parent. Offsprings are genetically different from each other. Only one individual is required for reproduction, increases chance of survival. And the question is saying, which of the above statements represent an advantage of sexual reproduction? An advantage of sexual reproduction, it should be to say that one, sexual reproduction, that is the reproduction which goes through the use of sexual uh, gametes, the sperms and the egg cells. So, unlike this, asexual is now the propagation of plant parts, which can be cuttings that can be also be used in terms of asexual. So, which of the above statements represents uh, an advantage of sexual reproduction? It is to say that one, the offsprings are genetically different from each other. The offsprings are genetically different from each other, and also that it increases chances of survival. It increases chances of survival, which is to mean to say that our answer is letter what? Is letter D. It increases the chances of what? It increases the chances of survival. They are the statement that represents advantage of sexual reproduction. And then they started the picture below, which shows the feeding habits of 6 birds that all live on the same muddy lake shore. They all live in the same muddy lake shore. And then which of the following community interaction does this picture best represent? This picture is actually represent, as you can see, these birds are feeding and are actually feeding from different types of depth of the what of the worms. The worms are found in different depth, and also their beaks. You can see that they are not the same. So what we are saying is that it is actually which of the following community interactions does this picture best represent? It actually represents resource partitioning. Resource partitioning, as you can see that these organisms, or I mean these birds, they are feeding at different levels. There is nowhere where bird number one can feed. We are saying based on the type of the beaks there, bird number one and number two, what they feed on, or what the depth to which they can extract their worms is actually different. So what we are saying is that this is the resource partitioning, where a specific type of species, a specific type of bird has got to feed at its own level, which it actually can exploit to the fullest. So that is resource partitioning. 1.6, seeds that are not included, the seeds that are not enclosed in a fruit. What are they called? Seeds that are not enclosed in a fruit. They are naked seeds. They are called naked seeds, which is letter C. They are called naked seeds. And then which of the following would most affect the quality of water? The quality of water is actually is most, check the question, would most, where the question is most affect the quality of water. So the building of dam in a water catchment area, the construction of a golf estate on a wetland area, an alien invasion, plants growing around a dam, seepage of water through the pyrite rock in mines. So what happens is that the quality of water, we are saying seepage is the movement of water underground, which we are saying that it can also, as you can see, it is draining from the rocks in the mine. So the quality of water can be affected because of the leakages of chemicals that can be produced from where, from the which are used in the mine, which therefore contaminate the quality of water. So what we are saying is this can be a toxic substance or chemical which can enter into our water resources. Hence, D can be the best answer there. And then the following graph, it is to be used to answer question 8 and 9. Thermal pollution affect the amount of dissolved oxygen present in water. That is okay. Uh, and then the graph below indicates how oxygen content of water in a river changes with increase in temperature. I'm sure that you know that when we are saying this amount, this thermal pollution, it can be due to the generation of electricity from a water reservoir, whereby the heating of the turbines and the water turning and so forth, it can actually affect the water, I mean the oxygen content in the river. So what happens is that we need to look into the question oxygen content, which is measured in milligrams per liter, and then we have got the temperature on the horizontal scale or horizontal graph that is showing ranging from 8 to what to 40 degrees. So the question is saying the following conclusion can be drawn from the graph. What is the best conclusion? As temperature increases, the oxygen content increases. That is not correct. As temperature increases, the oxygen, as temperature increases, the oxygen content, it is actually decreasing. We are saying that A cannot be correct. A is not correct to say as temperature increases, the oxygen content increases. That is not true. And then at 24 degrees Celsius, the oxygen content of the water would have halved. At 4 degrees, at 24, the oxygen content would have halved. Not really at 24 degrees. We are saying it is something like to say 10 milligrams, which can not be equally the same because it is falling from what, from somewhere like 18, I mean from somewhere like 14 there. It's not halving anyway. That is also not correct. And then as water temperature increases, the oxygen content decreases. As water temperature increases, we are saying from 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. What is happening is as water temperature increases, oxygen content decreases, because here at 0 degrees Celsius, it's something like 14 milligrams. At 80, it goes to something like 14, and then at 16, it's coming to something like 10. Up to 32, we are seeing something like 8, and then at 40, something like 7 or 6. So what we are saying is The correct answer here is that as water temperature increases, the oxygen content decreases, which is letter C. Hence, obviously, D cannot be correct. A certain species of fish can survive in water with a minimum oxygen content of a certain species of fish can survive in a water with a minimum oxygen content of 8 milligrams. At which temperature would you expect to find this fish in the what? In the river. Species of fish can survive in a water with a minimum oxygen content of 80 milligrams. At which temperature would we expect to find this fish in the river? So what we are saying is we have to look at 8 milligrams. What is the temperature there? At 8 milligrams, what is the temperature? At 8 milligrams, what is the temperature? At 8 milligrams. That's basically how this question can be worked. We are saying this is our oxygen. It is our oxygen there, and then this is our what? Our temperature. So at 8 milligrams, we are saying the temperature can be 24. It can be 24 degrees Celsius. It can be 24 degrees Celsius, which is also letter what? Which is letter D. I'm sure that you can see how I get this. I'm saying you just go at 8 milligrams there, and then you go to the graph where it touches the graph, go down and read the temperature, which you can actually see that is 24 degrees Celsius there. So that is basically what you need to do with question number 9. That is not difficult one. You just need to use the graph and you get your answer correct. That is all right. 18 marks, you can get them all right there. We need to give the biological term for each of the following descriptions. Only write the term next to the question numbers in the answer book. So what is happening is symmetry found in the porifera. What is it called? We are saying the symmetry found in porifera, it is called what? It's called asymmetry. And then dominant generation in the life cycle of ferns is the sporophyte. The sporophyte is the dominant generation in the life cycle of ferns. The sporophyte. And then the next question is saying name the vector responsible for transmitting malaria. The vector responsible for transmitting malaria. Name the vector responsible for transmitting malaria. It is actually the Anopheles mosquito. Anopheles mosquito is responsible for what? For Anopheles. Anopheles mosquito is one that is responsible for transmitting malaria. The female wall of a plant. I think this one we once answered it also yesterday, where we said that the male, sorry, it is the male wall of a plant, which is called the what? Is called the androecium. You understand? And then using an organism's natural predator to control their number. We call that what? Biological control. It is called biological control method. It's called biological control measure. Biological control. Biological control. Using organisms' natural predator to control their number. It can just be even vegetation where we put the opposite toxic plant that can disturb or that can stop this, what you call spreading of a certain other vegetation or plant, or it can be animals that can feed on other animals or other organisms. We call that biological control method, which is called biocontrol. Others can say that, can just say biocontrol. And then the close relationship between two organisms where both organisms benefit is called mutualism. I'm sure I remember also from the notes that I sent or I posted on the channel there. We talked about forms of interaction. Mutualism is when both ends are benefiting in a relationship. So both organisms, they benefit. We call that mutualism. And then illegal hunting or removal of organisms is poaching. It is called poaching, where people can hunt and kill organisms illegally. It's called poaching. And then uh, growing only one type of crop over a given area, we call that monoculture. It's called monoculture. You know, in actual farming practice, crop rotation must take place. But if there is no rotation and then one crop is grown year in and out, we call that monoculture. Monoculture, continuous growing of one plant or one crop over the same piece of land over a period of time is called monoculture. And then advantage of fungi, we can say that it is what? Advantage of fungi, it is just that it is what? It is wine, which is a only, and then root-like structure in mossy. The root-like structure in mossy, it is none of these ones. None. And then the nutrification, high nutrient content, algae bloom. So it is both A and B, both A and B, both A and B in that case, or both conditions they cause the blossoming of algae. So it is both A and B. And then we are given the diagram, and million of years ago we have got the charophytes, the barophytes, the petrophytes, the gymnosperm and the angiosperm, which are all given there. And then we are also having the different eras, the Mosaic, the Cenozoic, and the Paleozoic. And then the first question is saying, uh, the first question wants you to say, name the kingdom to which the organisms belong. In which the organisms belong. We are saying that it belongs to the what? It belongs to the plantae kingdom. It belongs to the plantae. It belongs to the plantae kingdom. And then name the plant division that were found. I mean, name the plant division that were found on Earth during the Paleozoic era. It is the Paleozoic era, the plant which were found, the plant divisions that were found on Earth during the Paleozoic era. The Paleozoic era, the plant that were found, we have got the what? We have got this, the charophytes and the barophytes, which are also even the petrophytes and also the gymnosium. They are these ones. You see the Paleozoic, I'm saying the Paleozoic, you see that it is every plant that is coming in this time. We call that what? They are the ones that are referred to that. We are saying we have got one, we have got two, we have got three, and four. All these four, I'm saying these are the plant species which were found during the what? The Paleozoic era. All of them, all of these ones, they are the ones which existed during the Paleozoic era. We are saying all of this, they are the ones which existed during the what? The Paleozoic era. So what is happening is that in terms of that, you need to understand that this, I'm just writing the answer there so that you can see. I'm just trying to save and just ensure that you can get this. These are the ones which I'm talking about. We are saying all this from here, uh, that is where the Pleistocene era is ending. So every generation that existed during this time, they are the plant generations that existed during the Pleistocene era. So I'm saying is the what? It is all of them, as you can see written there. The charophytes, the barophytes, the petrophytes, the gymnosperms, and then about those four are the ones which existed during that time. And then the next question is saying, how many million years ago did the seeds, how many millions years ago did uh, did the seed plant arise on earth? The seed plant arise on earth. How many years, million years ago did the seed plant arise on earth? So you can see that we are saying the seed, it is actually the seed plant arise on earth. Let me show you quickly, which we are saying it is what? Something like 350 million years ago. 350 million years ago. Uh, 350 million years ago. 350 million years ago. Give the scientific name for the division in which the life words and the words and mosses are found. The scientific name where those are found. Basically, you see that these are found in the what? In the barophytes. They are found in the barophytes. Oh. Which letter represent the following characteristic? The vascular tissue. Which letter represent the following characteristic? The vascular tissue. Vascular tissue. Which letter represents the following characteristic? The vascular tissue. Vascular tissue, we are saying it is represented by letter what? By letter D. D is representing the vascular tissue. D. And then the fruit. The fruit is represented by what? By A. Fruit is represented by A. And then what is considered to be the ancestor of all land plants? What is considered to be the ancestor of all land plants? The ancestor of all land plants, it is actually considered to be the what? All land plants, they are the ancestor is called to be the barophytes. The barophytes, which is where these all of them are coming from. They are all germinating from the what? From the barophytes, which is the barophytes there. So you understand to say that it is what? Sorry, excuse. I'm saying I'm they considered to be the ancestor of all land plants. All the land plants actually they are growing from the what? From the algae. I'm sure that we can see that the algae it actually provides uh algae it actually provides the generation, as to say the ancient parent of all the plant species, to say all of them, they are coming from the algae there. So the algae is actually giving every other generations or every other plant species that is originating. This is the ancient ancestor, is the common ancestor for every other plant species that we are seeing there. As you can see that the algae, it is the key father or the key genre from which the key ancestor from which all other plant species are what are coming from. So it is the what? The algae. And then the next question, data represent the number of springbok and cheetah in Namakwa Game Reserve over 65 years. The springbok is natural prey to cheetah, which is all right. The natural carry capacity of springbok in this reserve is 325. After this number was exceeded, the management of the reserve decided to introduce culling program. Culling is the process of killing and the removal of unproductive animals from from a certain population species. That's what we call culling. So that is what is happening there. And then the question is saying, name the relationship between cheetah and springbok. The relationship between cheetah and springbok, what you need to understand is that the cheetah and springbok relationship, it is actually a predation relationship. It's called predation relationship or predator-prey relationship. It's prey, it's predator-prey relationship, or we can call it also predation. In other words, we just call it predation, and then provide definition for the following. In terms of carrying capacity, is the maximum number of organisms or the maximum population size that an ecosystem can support. Its maximum population size, that an ecosystem can support. That an ecosystem can support. We call that carrying capacity. When that carrying capacity is reached, it means that the habitat or the ecosystem can no longer be able to carry that population size. Hence, it means those population depending on it will therefore start to what to suffer, or they cannot be supported. Either they will die because of hunger. They can just start not to be sustained enough because of that. So I also had defined culling, which I said selectively killing organisms to reduce their population size, or removal of animals of inferior quality to old, from the breeding or a head. So in other words, we can just give it as to say it's a removal of animals, it's removal or killing of unproductive animals from, we can say unproductive animals, or we can say inferior animals, which we can say which are old for breeding from what? From a herd or a flock. Animals from a herd or a flock. We call that what? We call that culling. That is called culling. And then between which years did the springbok population exceed the carrying capacity? The springbok population, which year did we have the springbok exceeding carrying capacity? Which years do we have the springbok? Which line represents the cheetah population? Okay, first question is, which line represents the cheetah population? The cheetah population, obviously the population of the ones that feed on the other. Remember from even the presentation that we did in in our grade 10 and from grade 10, it is known that the population of the one which is on top or which feeds on the one that is below, that one must always be less. So the cheetah population must be represented by line A, because we remember to say in terms of the energy passage or energy succession. So it is what? It is A that must be there. And then between which years did the springbok population exceed the carrying capacity? Which years did the springbok population between which years did the springbok population exceed the carrying capacity? Uh, the carrying capacity, we can see that springbok population, it is 19. We can see here the carrying capacity line is that this is the carrying capacity line here, carrying capacity. So we are saying it is this year and that year, which is to say that it is 1990 and 1990 and 1995. If we can go through here, we can see that is the year. And then we also gonna go down there. It goes as to what? To say these are the years 1990 and 1995. 1990 and 1995. And then, in which year was the culling program introduced for springbok? According to the graph, the culling program was introduced to the culling program introduced to the springbok. Which year was the culling population? The culling program introduced to the springbok? We can actually also say that that can be also 1995, where the population also decreased from then because it was above the carrying capacity. And then when it decreased, we can see that it should be in the year when it was above 1995. 1995 can be very correct because we are saying when it was above the carrying capacity, because we said it exceeded 1990 and 1995. And then 1995, it went down. Factors that might have caused it to go down is such as to say that it can be due to what? It can be due to what you call culling. So 1995 can do. And then name one other density dependent factor besides predation that uh, that uh, that uh, could naturally reduce the springbok population. This can be due to factors such as what? It can be diseases. It can be also be competition for food, competition for food. It can also be also competition for water, competition for water or competition for space. All those factors can also be what? They can also be relevant in terms of what? Number 6. uh, which can also be there to reduce the population size of this one. So I'm hoping that we have answered all the questions. I hope that we answered all the questions correctly and we finished them enough that nothing is left. And I can see that we answered them. We answered them all. We answered them all. I'm sure that we can see and it is done in there. So this is actually section A, and I hope that you can be able to get all the marks there correct, and you never lose any marks on this section because it is like that. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you all the best in your end of year. Get distinctions and excel. You can even make sure that next year uh, you are well connected from beginning for grade 12 because everything is gonna be done and it will be so nice and interesting from the DNA up to evolution, which you know that nothing can go wrong. We are going to do extensive revision and you would appreciate your stay on with Metric Hub. Thank you so much. Keep subscribing and sharing the channel to friends and families. You have a beautiful stay. Thank you.